Welcome all to another online business briefing brought to you by smallcapvoice.com. And I'm your host, Stuart Smith, and we're going to shine a spotlight on another smart and fresh play out there in the market today, and that is CyberloQ. The company is traded now on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol CLOQ. We're joined by the CEO of that company, Chris Jackson, as well as a company they're collaborating with, and that is Contata Solutions, and we will be speaking to their president, Greg Engen. Well, great to speak to both of you. Chris, welcome back. Thanks for making time for us at smallcapvoice.com.
Hey, thank you so much, Stuart. It's great to be back with you, and it's even it's a lot more entertaining now that I can bring Contata into the foray. Now that we've embarked quite a bit on our overall development project, and I'm excited to introduce Greg and the Contata team to our audience at large.
Well, let's do that now. Greg, welcome to the show, and thanks for making time for us.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
Well, listen, Chris, we've spoken to you several times in the past on our audio-only format. It's great to get to see you in person. It's great to get to talk to you again, but we have a whole new group of listeners and followers that are joining us. So if you will, let's start off really quick with a refresh on who is CyberloQ.
Well, we're a small technology company that has embarked on building or rebuilding, I should say, an MFA, a cybersecurity protocol that can go into various channels, whether it's banking, crypto, database, anything digital, any digital asset. We want to be able to protect using geofencing, geolocation, and other attributes that are attached to your Android device and or your iOS platform. And we've done business with Contata in the past. This is our second big project. We trust them. They're a wonderful company, and they have a large presence worldwide. And you know, it's difficult when you're rebuilding something. We had a working prototype, but it just wasn't capable to scale to the global technology end of it in terms of being able to handle millions and millions of transactions. And we forwarded these data points of our existing infrastructure to Contata. They reviewed it, and they were willing to take the project on. And they're essentially thought partners. They're not just contractors. They're thought partners with us. And we're extremely excited, and we're very fortunate as a company to have them building our infrastructure because, testing, coding. I'm not a code writer, but I believe in their infrastructure and their ability to build quality, top-notch technology and see it to fruition. And they're just a great group of people to work with, and we're really excited to be partnered with them.
Excellent. Well, let's hear about Contata straight from the president. Greg, if you will, tell us a little bit about the core competencies and the solutions you guys have created at Contata.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chris. And again, we are delighted to be partnered with CyberloQ on this. So Contata, as Chris mentioned, we are a global company. We're headquartered in Minneapolis, a team of about 250 or so. And we really lean into the digital transformation, digital disruption space, which again, in a lot of ways is a bit of an overused term, but it's very meaningful in kind of what we point to when we talk about digital transformation. Like it or not, almost all organizations are in some level of digital transformation, right? And you can kind of think about it a little bit of a maturity curve that, some are just kind of getting going. And when we think about modernizing their infrastructure or building out sort of customer-facing applications, things like that, some are very mature in it, and they're going through maybe their second or third round of what digital transformation might mean for them. For us, at a practical level, it's the capabilities and the skills and experience sets that we bring to bear really rely on a couple of key areas. One is software and application development, like we're doing here. What are those meaningful applications that need to be built out, put in place to really change my business trajectory. The other parts of that really feed into those applications. From a data engineering, data science standpoint, how do we move data from one point-based system to another, transform that data in order to make good decisions. And the third leg of that is really around the analytics that we put in place. So we have a deep data science practice around AI and machine learning, and putting those analytics into action in point-based applications to really drive the business.
Well, excellent. Thanks for that, Greg. And Chris, you started to go into this in the outset, but let's now talk about the solutions that the union of CyberloQ and Contata are putting together.
Well, I think one of the key components that in our quest to build a deterrent to fraud, online fraud, and just protecting personal identifying information and people's privacy, one of the things that has become a challenge is that the hackers, or the bad actors, so to speak, they're not resting on their laurels. They're always trying new and creative ways to take people's information and essentially create bad situations for good companies. And having a thought partner, a real technology partner in Contata with AI and ChatGPT and some of these other forward-thinking solutions, it gives us the ability to go to market with a very, very robust deliverable and be able to offer an affordable product to our end user client base. As a startup, and having to completely rebuild our infrastructure, we only had one shot at this, and that's the reason why we chose Contata, is because they are global in scope. Our infrastructure will be load tested and whatnot, and it really gives us the ability from a comfort level to be able to deliver a seasoned finished product on both platforms, whether it be Android or iOS, and confidently go to market in the next few months with a product that will secure and seamlessly prevent fraud in real time and be proactive in that measure, which is a real component. A lot of banks, a lot of companies now are reactive. What Contata and CyberloQ are trying to do is be in front of that and be proactive and prevent the fraud from happening before it even occurs. And with their technology and combining it with our insight and working protocols, I think we're going to be able to deliver that very, very quickly here in the not too distant future.
Well, Greg, Contata Solutions has been around for 23 years already, formed in 2000. Your existing solutions, you did a nice job of kind of telling us exactly what they are, but how do they now complement the work that CyberloQ is doing?
Yeah, the journey that Chris and his team are on at CyberloQ, they have a good thought out plan on kind of the application that they're developing, how to bring that to market, and then eventually how to evolve it over time. I think our capabilities fit very well into that roadmap overall. Around first building an application and then beginning to evolve that thing using some advanced analytic capabilities as that solution matures. So I think we're well positioned. We've been doing these type of development projects and applying analytics in this manner for a long time. As you mentioned, we've been around for a long time. And even though we see some of the steam around AI and machine learning algorithms sort of getting more out in the public, we've been at it for a long time, and they've always meant to be embedded in meaningful applications, and that's really the roadmap that Chris and the team have laid out, and I think our capabilities are well aligned to that.
Excellent. Well, Chris, you started to touch on this in the last segment, so let's wrap up this first interview. And I want to point that out, listeners and viewers. This is just the first of a series of interviews we're going to be doing with Chris and some of the thought partners, some of the collaborations that they're doing with other companies. Chris, obviously an extreme validation for CyberloQ to be working with Contata Solutions. So again, you alluded to some of these solutions and when they might be hitting the market. Let's get a 6 to 12 month outlook just on your work with Contata to wrap this up.
Thanks, Stuart. Well, in essence, we are in what we consider the final. We do development in sprints. There are 2-week DevOps opportunities. You build and code, you test, and then you move to the next series of code. Our target right now is the end of the summer, early fall, to be live with our first MVP, minimum viable product. We're testing the app right now, and we'll start that process. So end of summer, we're going to be in a position where we can start doing some serious demonstrations to some of our clients who are patiently waiting on the sidelines for CyberloQ to go live. But again, to my original point at the beginning, you only get one opportunity to go to the market, and we're going to go to the market correctly with a product that's polished and finished. It's been load tested, and we're ready to go, and we're ready to meet the demand, because there's a lot of demand to prevent fraud. So we're excited. End of summer is right around the corner, and the next opportunity, I'm sure Greg and I will be talking about the actual app itself, and we'd like to do an actual demonstration for our viewing audience where we can literally do a real-time geofence, an inclusion and an exclusion, and literally lock someone out of a situation in real time before it happens. So we're excited to get the summer process going, get the development on the tail side, and launch this product in short order.
Well, we're excited to be speaking with you, Chris. And again, speaking of exciting, that news that the company was able to uplist to the OTCQB, you can find that news using that ticker symbol CLOQ. It just came out a little over a month ago. Chris, thanks for your time here today.
Stuart, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. Looking forward to the next one.
And Greg, wonderful to meet with you and speak with you for the first time. I look forward to working with you again.
Same here. Nice to meet you, Stuart. Thanks for your time.
You bet. Well, for Greg Engen of Contata Solutions and Chris Jackson of CyberloQ, this is Stuart Smith of smallcapvoice.com saying thanks so much for tuning in.